To convene our January 2025 Bridges and Tunnels Committee meeting. Ms. Pascone, do we have any public speakers?
Good morning. We have 3 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all speakers, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware of the clock in the front of the room and the warning light you will see reminding you that you have 30 seconds left to conclude your remarks. The first speaker will be Lisa Daglian. Following will be Alita Dupree, followed by Jason Anthony.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Daglian, the Executive Director of the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA PCAC. Happy New Year and happy congestion pricing. I don't usually speak at this committee, but I just wanted to congratulate everybody for getting congestion pricing over the finish line. It's still going strong. It's not going to be easy keeping it going, but we all know that. We're all committed to it, committed to working with you. Obviously, the ongoing fight, not just for congestion pricing, but to continue getting the tolls, the persistent toll violators to pay, is something that we will keep our eye on. At the city and state conference last week, there was a good conversation that included the Thruway Authority and the Bridges Authority, who also talked about the good collaborative relationship that they have with the MTA in working together to look into and move forward with getting funds from the people who are determined to try to beat the system. So we look forward to having a system that can be less beatable. But I really just wanted to say congratulations and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you. The next and final speaker is Alita Dupree.
Thank you. Good morning to the chair. Alita Dupree, for the record, she and her with Team Folds going to talk about Bridge and Tunnel today. A lot of good work going on. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for the good work with congestion pricing. I've always been an unashamed supporter of that. And I have a toll background for you. It's not yours, but it's very similar. And I hope to be able to use more bridges and tunnels when I return to New York when things warm up a bit. How do we keep this going? How do we get people more interested in Easy Pass? We're doing very well with our Easy Pass. We're over 90%. Some of the bridges are over 95%. But what keeps people from doing Easy Pass, especially with all the incentives that Easy Pass has? I have learned from a young age that if you give somebody a 50-cent coupon for a loaf of bread, you're going to buy more bread. So Easy Pass can help people to pay the basic rate for their tolls and even get discounts. It's been a while since I've spoken with you. But I do often speak at the Bay Area Toll Authority, which is a toll agency in the Bay Area of California, and they run 7 bridges.
Your safety is of the foremost importance to the MTA. Therefore,
but they don't have any tunnels. So again, thank you. I appreciate the work you're doing. Most of all, keeping in mind your primary mission of keeping the bridges and tunnels safe. Thank you.
Thank you. We have just been joined by Jason Anthony, who will be the final speaker.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Anthony here, and Road to Broadway. I love to see the numbers that are going on the positive trend. We learned last week that Boston and Chicago are considering a study for congestion pricing. That is good news. One thing that I want to mention is that Easy Pass is a good way to use. But one thing that I want to mention is that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey has been using this method to incentivize drivers to pay their tolls. Why hasn't the MTA considered this? So we should encourage our drivers to use this method because it has a lot to offer. So let's keep it forward because it's looking good. So I'll see you guys later in MTA headquarters.
Thank you. Chair, that concludes the public comment.
Thank you, Rose. We don't actually have a quorum, so we won't be approving the minutes at this meeting, hopefully at the full board. President Sheridan, are there any changes to the work plan?
Good morning, Chair Albert. B&T's proposed 2025 committee work plan starts on page 7 of the book, and we are requesting committee approval. I guess we will defer that to next month. I'm also noting an MTA agency-wide request to have the annual work plan presented in November with approval in December rather than January. And this revision will apply starting with the 2026 work plan to be presented this coming November.
Great. I think we're ready for your report.
Great, thank you. I'm going to go a little bit off script here, and I don't normally comment on reports in the media, but yesterday's story regarding toll losses in one of our fantasy tabloids is particularly egregious and misleading and grossly overstates our toll losses. I'm amazed that with the amount of outreach and education that we do about how to pay tolls and avoid fees, that there's just a lack of understanding that the amount we place with a collections agency is not outstanding debt, it's not tolls. It includes tolls and fees and any other penalties that may apply. So the number may appear very large, but that is not toll debt. At the end of the day, we collect 96% of what we're owed. And that's through a variety of methods. That includes collection agency placements, New York State DMV suspensions, out-of-state suspensions and plate clearances, judgments, roadside interdictions and vehicles towed, payment plans, and commercial account assistance. So this RFP that is out will help us close that 4% gap, and it's the responsible thing to do. And I'll remind everyone that since the toll booths were removed back in 2017, and I find it hard to believe anybody is suggesting that we put them back, in less than a year, from 17 to 18, we experienced reductions in peak travel times by up to 32%, with customers saving 3.4 million hours of travel time. There was a reduction of carbon emissions of over 15,000 tons, with fuel consumption reductions of 1.6 billion gallons. Now, these are sustainable reductions, which continue to this day. And I'd also note that since 2016, collisions have decreased by 62%. That's all because traffic is free-flowing and not stopping at toll booths. So I'm not going to debate this today. Just don't believe everything you read.
Thank you. And the readers, as you enter the congestion zone, are also notifying when there's something wrong with the license plate, when there is an obscured plate, correct?
Correct. And they also go through manual image review as
So
well.
that's another benefit. Okay, great. I don't think we can do any procurements.
I've got a few more comments if you don't mind.
Wonderful, please.
So, okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. The first month of 2025 came in strong with a prolonged period of frigid temperatures, high winds, and some snow touching down on B&T facilities. I want to acknowledge our teams in the field and those working behind the scenes for responding to quick changing conditions. You kept our customers and fellow employees safe and our business operations running smoothly. Of course, this month is one for the history books, with the start of tolling in the congestion relief zone on January 5th. Under the leadership of Governor Hochul and Chair Lieber, this is another first for New York State and TBTA, as we lead the nation again as the first city to implement a congestion relief program. While data is still preliminary, anecdotal and early results indicate a positive direction. I would especially like to acknowledge Chief Operating Officer Alison C. De Sereno and our congestion relief zone team for their dedication and resolve, for reaching every milestone on this project, and for the ongoing work for customer education. You'll hear more on this from Allison in a few minutes. I'd like to highlight just a few of the many TBTA accomplishments for 2024. In addition to the ramp-up for the congestion relief program, our tolling management department in September initiated a judgment program for persistent toll violators, and in 4 short months, recovered more than $4.6 million, and enrolled over 2,700 customers into payment plans. This is just the beginning of this promising program. They also recovered over $44 million through our New York State DMV suspension program, which is a 25% increase from 2023. On our crossings, we have decreased customer collisions by 16%, continuing our downward trend. Additionally, our Environmental Health and Safety Department upgraded all of our exercise facilities as we focus on the well-being of our employees. We are looking forward to expanding this program with additional initiatives in 2025. To ensure the continued state of good repair of our facilities, our Facility Management Department onboarded 2 maintainer classes, a much-needed replenishing of these ranks. They also showed their expertise for emergency response and recovery with a successful coordinated effort with our construction and development partners when the Queens Midtown Tunnel experienced water intrusion due to a drilling incident. We've initiated a complete restructuring of the agency to align with our current mission and have restarted employee recognition events to celebrate the amazing people we work with and their accomplishments. Our Security and Operations Department launched a robust and industry-leading drone program to include the licensing of 10 drone pilots, and their focus on new technologies to enhance infrastructure security resulted in a reduction of unauthorized intrusions. They have also expanded our enforcement capabilities and activities. So let's take a deeper look into enforcement. These stats are truly amazing. At our facilities, we have increased enforcement in almost all categories, with a few highlighted here. In March, Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams announced the initiation of an interagency ghost plate task force. In 10 months, this task force held over 60 operations, focusing on drivers who cover, obstruct, and alter their license plates or use counterfeit plates. These operations produced staggering results, with over 34,000 summonses, over 3,400 vehicles towed, and 740 arrests, including 73 individuals who were wanted, 16 who were driving a stolen vehicle, 10 who were involved in shootings, 54 who had prior major arrests, and 27 for possession of an illegal firearm, further highlighting that people obstructing their plates aren't just avoiding tolls or speed cameras. They're committing far more serious crimes in our communities. With the start of tolling in the congestion relief zone, we're also focused on enforcement within and around the zone. With the support of our partners at NYPD and MTA PD, these operations are occurring daily, and we will not stop until we eradicate this problem. I'd like to thank Chiefs King, Chavez, and Taffy for their laser focus on this effort. We are patrolling every single day to ensure these vehicles with ghost plates are removed from the road and those who enter the zone pay their fair share. Based on our success in 2024, the message to these violators is clear. Do not obstruct or cover your plate. We will find you. I'd like to thank all the TBTA employees and our partners at the MTA and across the region for all the accomplishments we've collectively achieved. You've set the bar high, and I can't wait to see what we will achieve in 2025. I'll now turn it over to our Chief Operating Officer, Allison Cide-Sereno, to fill you in on individual and organizational disability exemption plans for the CRZ.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning. The Traffic Mobility Act, which authorized the Central Business District Tolling Program, popularly referred to as the Congestion Relief Zone, required an exemption for qualifying vehicles transporting persons with disabilities. The MTA has made it a priority to ensure that those eligible for this exemption are able to access it, whether driving themselves or being driven by others. To achieve this, we established fair and strict eligibility criteria to ensure the exemption is limited to those who truly need it. Throughout the process, we appreciated the guidance and expertise from across the MTA, notably Chris Pangilinan and Rachel Cohen of the New York City's Transit's paratransit team, and Chief Accessibility Officer Camille Arroyo. There are several ways that customers can now access the exemption. There's an individual disability exemption plan that we refer to as IDEP, which allows exemptions for individuals or their designated drivers. And there's also an organizational disability exemption plan, or ODEP, which allows exemptions for entities that operate vehicles transporting persons with disabilities, such as paratransit and ambulette vehicles, schools, or special education facilities. There has been a concerted and multifaceted effort to inform the public about the disability exemption plan for the CRZ. Among the tools used to get the word out were live webinars that remain accessible for viewing, informational email blasts and newsletters sent to thousands of elected officials, organizations, and individuals across the tri-state metropolitan region, plus other ongoing efforts including close coordination with city agencies to share the details about IDEP and ensuring that the assessment centers keep the CRZ literature available to visitors. With respect to the IDEP, there's been some confusion, and I want to be clear. It should be noted that those who are already enrolled in MTA's Access-a-Ride paratransit service or the city's parking permit for people with disabilities program automatically meet the criteria for enrollment in IDEP, and they only need to provide these credentials when they fill out the web form online to demonstrate their need. The online form walks customers through the steps and allows them to upload their documentation, along with their EasyPass account so the plan can be tied to their account. For those who do not have this necessary documentation, we instituted IDEP assessment centers in each of the 5 boroughs, where customers can make appointments and obtain certification for eligibility, and then go online, fill out the web form, and provide the details. Customers may call between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., and appointments are held between designated times at each facility, as you can see. As of last week, more than 2,600 applicants have been approved for IDEP and have already taken over 5,000 trips in the congestion relief zone. To ensure that our customers can get the help they need, we opened our customer contact center on Sundays through January. While we encourage customers to use the automated phone or website, those who need to speak with someone or feel more comfortable speaking to a person have been able to reach out all 7 days this past month. Importantly, our customers aren't only based in New York, and eligibility for IDEP isn't limited to New York. So we also reached out to the broader EasyPass group to work with the 37 other member tolling entities to ensure that their customers can also be tolled seamlessly, receive their crossing credits, and any exemptions or discounts when appropriate. Just like the congestion relief zone itself, offering IDEP and ODEP in this manner is new to tolling in this country. With this in mind, we're also carefully following everything in the process and identifying areas for improvement to make sure that things are as easy and understandable as possible for our customers as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. And once again, to your team for all their productive and ongoing work. Yep, I was just going to ask for questions. We've covered a lot today.
Great, yeah. I have a few questions. Allison and Kathy and everybody on the team, thank you so much. The rollout was in a way seamless. The commissioning time you took, all of the time that the testing that was done, it was clear that on the first days, the systems were working really well. So really appreciate that, and I personally know how difficult it can be to bring a project like this to fruition. So thank you so much. And TBTA has always been kind of serious and dedicated in their work. It's never fun to say we're going to charge fees. That is a serious task. But I think you've all done it with so much integrity. So thank you so much. On the IDEP, I understand that is new to maybe the tolling field or the work that you all do. I see that only 2,600 applications have been approved. Do you all have estimates for how many folks there are that might not be taking advantage of this exemption? That's my first question.
As part of the process, we have estimates. They range from fairly low numbers to very, very high numbers. It's hard to tell because you have multiple areas that we looked at in terms of, for example, how many people have disability plates is on the lower side. How many people actually, from some of the census data, could be disabled? Much, much higher. How many people actually travel into the city from all around the world who could be? That's exceedingly high. So we don't have estimates that would help us ensure that we've gotten everyone. So we are actually making sure on the other end to reach out as broadly as we possibly can, get the word out, let people know everything from, as I described, emails out involving electeds to help us get that word out, to word of mouth. Right? We've actually gotten calls from people saying, hey, I have someone in my family, how do I do this? In the disability community, there are lots of networks. And so in doing that, that helps us actually get even more people through the networks that especially need them.
And how many are in the New York City parking permit program that you mentioned?
That's not a number I have offhand. Or are you asking how many
Maybe
are using
Kumail
that?
knows because he was at DOT.
33,000 people have it.
33,000.
Citywide.
Right. So citywide, right? And so you have to kind of, call that down in terms of who's traveling in Manhattan. But I think that gives us a good, just like a barometer. So 2,000, it seems pretty small. And so I commend you for continuing that outreach and engagement. That would be really necessary. And what kind of feedback have we heard about the IDEP program? Is it that people don't feel like they've heard about it, or is it much more like the process is a little complicated?
So two things. I do want to be really clear.
Yeah.
I do not have the number specifically on the PPPD program, which is a city program. But from our own experience in tolling, we also need to be cautious. Many, many more people sign up for these things than actually use them.
Use them on
Right?
a
We
basis,
found this on in various discount plans we have. The vast majority of the people that sign up do not use them. For example, when I was testing, right, I went in, so my number's in there. I was testing one day to make sure everything was working right. I have my own son who has disabilities and thought, well, if I'm going to sign up, I might as well sign up for real, right? Ran through the whole process, but I never drive him down here.
Right.
I take transit when I come down.
But you have it now as a just in case.
So I could have it if I needed it, right? And so a lot of people do that. So that number isn't necessarily reflective of the reality of how people are traveling. So I think that's very important. In terms of what we've heard everything. We've heard there had been, some challenges with folks who are confused, and we help them out. We've heard people who are happy with what they've got. They're already using it. I think the fact that we're seeing so much usage already, even with the numbers that we have, is a good sign.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bergman.
Yes, Kathy, you mentioned the success of the Ghost Plate initiative that New York City has. Is there any possibility that we can reach out to the adjoining police departments in the MTA region? Ghost plates are everywhere. It's not just a New York City issue. I see them all the time in Nassau and Suffolk County. And I know it's a violation of the vehicular traffic laws. So if we can get, Suffolk County Police, Nassau County Police, Westchester, Yonkers to crack down on this as well. And if you could provide them with those statistics from New York City, it will make it worth their while if they can see how many possible people with warrants, people that might have guns, people who might be driving stolen cars, all of the things that you mentioned. I think it would be a big help for us.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. And that task force is made up of a number of different law enforcement entities, to include New York State Police, New York City Sheriff, so it's a multifaceted group. But we can certainly reach out to our regional partners. Sure. Okay, no further questions. Chair Albert, there are no procurements this month. Before we bring the meeting to a close, I'd like to say a few words about a close colleague. As you heard at last month's Capital Program Committee meeting, C&D Senior Vice President and TBTA Chief Engineer Joe Keene will be retiring next week after 37 years of extraordinary service. It's worth repeating, and I'm going to steal some of the statistics that Jamie highlighted, that under Joe's leadership since 2010, as the longest-serving chief engineer in TBTA history, TBTA awarded nearly $6.5 billion in projects, extending the life of our 7 bridges and 2 tunnels, through state-of-good repair projects, but also embracing innovation and a clear vision towards the future. Joe has demonstrated unwavering commitment to developing his team and the safety of our facilities. Joe was instrumental in progressing Sandy recovery projects, open road tolling, and the congestion relief zone. He set new standards for excellence and efficiency, most notably under his tenure, bringing projects to completion more than $400 million under budget. Joe, thank you for your support as a valued member of the TBTA executive team. Thank you for your level-headed professional approach. I personally thank you for your wisdom and guidance. and thank you for your dedication to our customers. On behalf of the authority, I wish you all the best in your well-earned retirement. I don't know if you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Kathy, and thanks everyone for the kind words. It's been a privilege working with such a talented group for so many years, and I'm very happy that things are going well as regards our bridges and tunnel facilities, and I know the future is bright for this group. So wish the agency every success in the future. It's been a pleasure working here, and thanks to all for everything. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Congratulations. Chair, this concludes the
Yes,
BMT report.
as there are no procurements, and as we do not have a quorum, I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you all.